My life as a maid, not a wife, a real story for English practice. Imagine waking up every day, cleaning other people's homes, cooking their meals, and taking care of their lives while your own dreams fade into the background. But here's the twist: what if the life you thought you wanted wasn't the life you were meant to live? This is the story of a woman who became a maid, not a wife, and learned the hard truth about the life she had chosen. Stay with me, because this real story will make you question everything you thought you knew about success, love, and the pursuit of happiness. My story is not one of dreams fulfilled or happily ever afters. No, it's a tale of sacrifice, resilience, and a life that many wouldn't think twice about, but one that shaped me into the person I am today. It all started when I was just 18. I was young, full of hopes, and with an eagerness to step into the world. I had big dreams, the kind that we all have when we're starting out. I wanted a career, I wanted to be loved, and most importantly, I wanted to build a life of my own. But life, as it often does, had a different plan for me. I had always imagined myself in a different role. Maybe it was society's pressure, or maybe it was just my own idealism, but I had never once considered that my life would take the turn it did. When I first started working as a maid, it felt like a temporary thing, something to make ends meet until I could find something better. But what I didn't realize at the time was how deeply this job would become intertwined with my identity. At first, the work was hard. The hours were long, the tasks repetitive. I had to clean the same floors, wash the same dishes, and care for the same rooms every day. It was exhausting. But as the days passed, I grew accustomed to the routine. What was harder to adjust to was the fact that many people around me saw me not as a person, but as someone whose sole purpose was to serve. I became invisible to many, an unnoticed presence in the background of other people's lives. In the beginning, I thought I would be able to balance this life with the dreams I had of marriage, of being a wife, of building a home with someone I loved. But as time went on, I realized that those dreams were slipping further and further away from me. Being a maid wasn't just about cleaning houses. It was about giving up pieces of yourself in ways you couldn't have imagined. I worked in several homes, and with each new place, I encountered a different set of people, a different set of challenges. Some families were kind and treated me with respect, but even then, the underlying dynamic was the same. I was still the help. I wasn't seen as an equal, just a worker. I would often hear the wives in the homes I worked in talk about their lives, about their children, their vacations, their husbands, and I would quietly listen. I realized that I had a front row seat to the lives of these women, yet I wasn't living my own life. I was merely an observer in someone else's world. I've met women who had everything. They had the love of a partner, children, and the freedom to pursue their own dreams. And I often wondered, why wasn't I living that life? Why had I been relegated to the role of a maid and not that of a wife? The answer, of course, was complicated. But if I'm honest, part of it was because of the choices I made, the path I walked down, and the sacrifices I unknowingly accepted. There were times when I questioned my worth. I would stand in the kitchen, chopping vegetables for dinner, and wonder why I wasn't the one sitting at the table with my family, enjoying a meal I had prepared. I had dreams, I had ambitions, but they were fading into the background. I was no longer the young girl with aspirations of love and success. I had become someone who just existed, just survived. And yet, in all this, something strange happened. I began to change in ways I couldn't have predicted. The more I worked, the more I learned about the human condition. I saw the highs and lows of family life, the struggles behind the curtains of the beautiful homes I worked in. I learned that no life is perfect, not even those of the wives and mothers I admired. I saw that everyone had their own battles, their own secrets. They weren't living the dream I had imagined. They, too, had their struggles. I realized that my life, although different, was still valuable. I had built a resilience in myself that I could never have achieved in any other circumstance. I had learned to adapt, to survive, and to stay true to myself, even when I felt invisible. Through all the years of cleaning, cooking, and taking care of other people's lives, I had started to understand that my value wasn't in the title of wife or in the role I played in someone else's world. It was in the strength I had developed, in the wisdom I had gained, and in the way I had learned to navigate the complexities of life. It wasn't easy to come to this realization. It took years of reflection, of enduring hardships, and sometimes of feeling completely alone. But now, I know that I have something more important than the conventional dream of being a wife. I have a deep understanding of who I am, of what it takes to live a life full of purpose, even when the circumstances aren't what I imagined. And through this journey, I've come to appreciate the power of language. I've learned that communication is more than just the words we speak. It's the way we connect with others, the way we show empathy, and the way we express our truth. As I've learned English, I've realized that language isn't just a tool for conversation, it's a tool for transformation. It has allowed me to connect with people in ways that go beyond the surface. It has allowed me to express my experiences and share my story. So, while I may not be a wife, while I may not have the life I once dreamed of, I have something even more valuable. I have a voice. I have a story. And in sharing it, I hope others find the courage to live their truth, no matter the circumstances. Because life, no matter how difficult or different it may seem, is worth living. And it's through embracing our experiences that we find our strength. So, if you're listening to this, and you're struggling, wondering why your life isn't turning out the way you imagined, remember this: it's okay. Your journey is yours to live, and no matter where it takes you, you will find the strength to make it through. You are more than your job, your title, or your circumstances. You are your own story, and that story is far from over. Thank you for listening to my story. And if you ever find yourself in a situation where you feel invisible, remember, you are seen. You matter. You have a voice, and your story is important. So take a deep breath, and keep moving forward. The best chapters are yet to come.